Our story begins in the 9th century with Kyivan Rus, a powerful medieval state centered around Kyiv. It's considered the cultural and historical cradle for both modern Ukraine and Russia, laying the foundation for their distinct identities. The Mongol invasion in the 13th century fragmented Kyivan Rus, while the eastern territories eventually formed the core of Muscovy. The western lands, including much of modern Ukraine, fell under the influence of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and later Poland. For centuries, much of Ukraine was part of the powerful Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, experiencing strong Western European cultural and political influences, which further diverged its path from Muscovy. Meanwhile, in the northeast, the Grand Duchy of Moscow consolidated power, overcoming Mongol rule and expanding rapidly, eventually forming the vast Russian Empire, establishing its own distinct identity and political system. Seeking protection from Polish rule, the Ukrainian Cossacks, led by Bogdan Khmelnytsky, signed the Treaty of Pereyaslav in 1654, placing a significant part of Ukraine under the protection of the Russian Tsar. This moment is viewed differently by both nations. Over time, the Russian Empire gradually absorbed more Ukrainian territories, imposing Russification policies. Ukrainian language and culture faced suppression, yet a distinct national identity persisted, often in defiance. The chaos of World War I and the Russian Revolution provided a window for Ukrainian independence. In 1918, the Ukrainian People's Republic was declared, but its sovereignty was short-lived amid civil war and foreign interventions. By 1922, Ukraine was forcibly incorporated into the newly formed Soviet Union as the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic. Despite nominal autonomy, it was firmly under Moscow's control, becoming a vital agricultural and industrial heartland. The early Soviet period brought immense tragedy, most notably the Holodomor, a man-made famine in 1932-33. Millions of Ukrainians perished due to forced collectivization and grain requisitions, an event recognized as genocide by many nations. World War II brought further devastation to Ukraine. Caught between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, it became a brutal battleground, suffering immense human losses and widespread destruction, yet contributing significantly to the Allied victory. After the war, Ukraine was rebuilt as a key industrial and agricultural hub of the Soviet Union. While economically integrated, cultural policies continued to suppress Ukrainian identity, promoting a unified Soviet narrative. In 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster occurred in Soviet Ukraine, a catastrophe with global implications. It exposed the vulnerabilities of the Soviet system and further fueled calls for greater transparency and autonomy within the republic. As the Soviet Union weakened, Ukraine declared full independence in 1991, overwhelmingly supported by a national referendum. This marked the end of centuries of foreign domination and the beginning of a new era of statehood. The initial years of independence were challenging, marked by economic struggles, political instability, and the complex process of state building. Ukraine navigated its post-Soviet identity, seeking closer ties with the West, while maintaining relations with Russia. In 2004, the Orange Revolution saw massive peaceful protests in Ukraine, challenging electoral fraud and asserting the nation's democratic aspirations and pro-Western orientation, further distancing it from Moscow's influence. The year 2014 marked a dramatic escalation. Russia annexed Crimea and supported separatists in eastern Ukraine, leading to the ongoing war in Donbass. This shattered post-Cold War peace and irrevocably altered Russia-Ukraine relations. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, citing security concerns and denazification. This unprovoked aggression sparked a major European war, causing widespread destruction and a global humanitarian crisis. The world responded with condemnation, sanctions against Russia, and unprecedented military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. NATO and EU unity strengthened, shifting the geopolitical landscape. As of 2024, the conflict continues to rage, transforming Ukraine's landscape and society. Cities are devastated, millions are displaced, and the nation's resilience is tested daily amidst ongoing battles and reconstruction efforts. Looking towards 2025, the future remains uncertain. The war's outcome will profoundly shape regional and global security, with Ukraine continuing its fight for sovereignty and a secure European future while the world watches on.